Hello everyone. So we are here for a session with Mayur Hazarika, All India Rank 5 CSE 2022. Mayur, welcome to the session.
Thank you, sir.
So one of the most important thing for all of us to learn from Mayur is that he has cleared the exam in his very first attempt. So he has not come to Delhi. He has been there in Assam. He was posted as a medical officer and was also busy with the COVID duties. So along with work, he has very well managed his preparation. And by his sheer discipline, the talent he has, and hard work, he has secured All India Rank 5. So Mayur, in this session, we are going to answer our students a few basic questions.
Okay, sir.
The moment we see a topper, हमारे दिमाग में आता है कि ये सवाल हैं जो हमें टॉपर्स बताने चाहिए. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and we will try to tell them exactly what it looks like and how it is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, by the way, did you get a chance to see the prelims paper?
Yes, I had a cursory look at the GS paper, not the
How
CSE
was
one. Well, definitely the pattern has changed. There is no doubt about it. The paper is very different. But what I realized, or through the cursory reading, what I felt was that if the basics are strong enough, then yes, although it was difficult or different, it was doable. Like,
Right.
yes.
And what about the pattern? Everyone is saying that the pattern changed.
Yes.
What is that?
Definitely the pattern has changed. There is no doubt about it. But
Yes.
what I felt was that UPSC had definitely given the trailer to this in the last year.
Yes.
They have shown that with those 7 or 8 questions of this pattern, they have shown that this is the way we are going to go forward. And this time that came as a full feature film.
Yes. So basically, I also feel that if your concepts are clear, no matter what kind of a pattern UPSC is following,
Yes.
you should be at a position to answer it, right?
Yes. And although the pattern is different, it is the same level playing ground for everyone. It's different for everyone.
Absolutely. It is same for everyone rather. So they can very well answer it, right?
Yes.
Places us all in the same place. Okay. Mayur, you qualified the prelims in the very first attempt. And we have seen students who are giving prelims again and again. It's not that their preparation is not intact or anything other disadvantages is there with them. It's just that they are unable to click it. Maybe they want to have, or they should have some kind of a definitive strategy as far as prelims is concerned. So what was your strategy for prelims? Prelim specific, since you qualified it in the very first attempt.
Okay. So I have been saying it for some time now that for me, the basic mantra was that everything is negotiable except revision. So I had quality yet limited resources. Like I kept my resources limited. I did not keep on hopping from one resource to another. Whatever value addition is required, I did on the basic resource that I had first selected. And I kept on revising those multiple times. So I think that was my basic strategy with respect to prelims. I also looked at a few mocks, not very extensively because I was under like extreme time crunch.
Yes.
But I think the basic was that keep your basics very strong, keep on revising them in such a way that after revision of so many times, it almost becomes like a bigger picture. One starts looking at a very bigger,
Absolutely.
from a very bird's eye point of view. So
Yeah.
that helps.
And how about the newspaper part?
Okay, so about my current, I would say that my current was actually, preparation was kind of messy and it was not very well organized.
Okay.
It was also hybrid. Sometimes I used to look at the newspapers and sometimes I did monthly or this. But what I'm saying is everything is negotiable. Whatever resources one is following is fine. But just have to revise it so many times that it come automatically when one is seeing a question or something related to that topic.
It doesn't make a sense how many books you are reading unless and until you are able to revise it.
Yes, exactly.
Because that only gives you the power to reiterate it, make questions
Yes.
answered properly, right?
Yes, yes.
So when I look at a student who is going to begin the preparation for prelim itself, what do you think should be the time frame? When should they start preparing? How did you start, or when did you start rather, preparing for the prelim exam itself?
Yes, so sir, although this is my first attempt, I'm saying that this is not my 1-year attempt.
Yes.
Because I think I started off on a very cursory level or very superficially, just knowing the syllabus, the question patterns that are going on towards the later part of my 4th year or the final year of MBBS period. And during my internship period, in the initial phases, I was doing my optional because, and it was almost 70 or 80% I had done it in the internship period as well. I entered into serious GS preparation from the later part of internship throughout my rural service, 1 year, which was so I think serious preparation was around 1.5 years. But including those cursory periods and all, I think it can extend to around 2 years from now.
Actually, that is very honest of you. Let me tell you something. Many people would say that it's my first attempt. And students come under the impression that, okay, within that 10 or 11 months, he could prepare, do the classes, did the revision, wrote so many tests and qualified also. It is really very honest of you to say that it's not just those 10 months, rather there is a backup line of disciplined preparation, which you did some 1.5 years ago.
Yes.
I think that's a very important thing for students to learn, and great of you that you have actually shared something like that. Now, all of this preparation you did online only?
Yes.
You never came to Delhi, right?
No, I came to Delhi only after my mains result. Since I was skeptical about my fluency and in English and Hindi, so I thought that I should get into the hang of speaking English again, and then I actually came to Delhi.
So the mock interviews and all would help you. So for that you only came.
Yes.
So if I compare that online and offline thing, that classroom setting, and the way students are taking online courses, what do you think? What is the major difference, or is it same, or is there some difference which you feel because you were there?
Yes. What I would say is that the basic knowledge that is being given is almost the same. The one big factor, what I feel is the difference between online and offline is that in the offline basis, a student can get a very personal touch with the teachers.
Yes.
And it is, that can be motivating factors to come to the classes daily, or they have got a friend circle. But since I was preparing in isolation, I did not have that kind of pulling factor. So I had to push myself. So I had that push factor within me that I need to do this. So this can be through self-discipline and all. But I think at the end of the day, one needs to push himself through this process.
Absolutely correct. Because I have seen that students would treat the classes like they're watching Netflix. Many a time it happens that they would pause the same class maybe n number of time, and the class which they would have winded up maybe in just 2.5 hours, that would go as a manner of fashion throughout the day. And then they would say that, sir, I don't have time to study because I am unable to cover my online class itself.
Yes.
So did it happen with you also?
Okay, so just I was, I think I have made it clear by now that I had time constraints. So it was contrary in my case. I actually had to watch my videos in 1.7x or 2x because I had to cover it up. I just had around 3 hours or something. Besides looking at the video, I also on a regular basis made time for self-study and revision. So
what I understand by what you did is that you had a plan of covering the things. You already got a notch of it by looking at cursory level what UPSC is asking, what kind of questions are being portrayed. Then you prepared your class along your work schedule, watched the classes at 2x speed almost, gathered the information and then revised also.
Yes, definitely.
That seems very hectic, yet on the part I think you've done a fabulous job. Okay, so I understand your prelim thing. Let's come to main exam once. How did you prepare for the main exam?
Okay, so I prepared for mains and the prelims in an integrated manner. The basic resources were the same for both stages.
Yes.
However, after prelims, what I relied on was significant value addition. And here I mean by significant, I really mean significant.
So how did you do it? Like,
okay, so I had like 4 or 5 basic strategies for value addition.
Okay.
Firstly, the first strategy was through data or statistics. The second was reports. I used to quote reports and all. And these two were very heavily useful in GS3 because in economy, I remember that in a large number of answers, I don't remember exactly, I used to quote around 10 to 12 statistical data in a single answer.
In a single answer?
Yes.
Okay.
So I had prepared around like around 700, 800 statistical data, and I memorized those and then used them in different angles through different papers. And reports, thirdly, case laws for GS2. I think around 35 or 40 case laws is good enough to be used. Mostly they are related to basic structure only.
Yes.
Fourthly, there were lots of anecdotes which are useful in essay as well as ethics. And fifthly, there was comparative data that I used. Comparative data as in the sense that the data has to be both spatially comparative and temporally comparative. For example, temporally by I mean what was the rate of something in 2018 and versus what we are doing in 2022. And the difference between what is the spatial data, I mean like what is the rate in India versus what is the rate in some developed country or in some other country. So such
So
type
we
of
get
value
to know
additions.
a heck of what is going on all around us.
Yes, just gives a comparative angle, and I think that was the type of value additions that I was going for.
Okay, great. That seems to be a very good strategy. Uh, Mayur, you never come to Delhi, as you said, and you only came for mock interviews. So, what would you tell the students who think that only when we go to Delhi, maybe we'll be able to prepare good, or that is where the ecosystem is to prepare for civils? So, what do you think? What is the message that you would give to these students who are unable to come to Delhi?
Yes, I too had that preconception or
That
that.
FOMO was
Yes,
there.
yes, definitely that FOMO was there, and eventually that FOMO went away when I cleared mains. That FOMO actually continued even till I came for mains. I used to say कि वहाँ पे तो they are preparing at a very high level. They have that comparative idea or relative idea that where I am standing in this race. But since I was preparing in isolation, I had no idea where I actually stand in that race.
Yes.
I was not giving a lot of mocks and all, so there was also that
I
factor.
think that is one of the best of the things which happens in Delhi, because you get a gauge of where you stand in the queue, and maybe that is one thing which we miss in the non-Delhi areas. However, with online education system, I think that gap is also
Yes.
reducing day by day.
Nowadays, online mocks are available, so there it can give.
Okay, so Mayur, my next question is actually something that students would ask us many times, which is majorly about note making. So in the class, definitely the teachers would give them good amount of notes, and that is definitely the qualitative, crisp, substantial part of things that you need to get your concepts clear and understand the things. However, when it comes to main exam, we say that we need notes. So let me ask you, how did you prepare your notes?
Yes, for mains, from the basic structure, that basic whatever material that has, one needs to get a crisper idea of those things. So
Yes.
definitely one can prepare short notes on those topics. But what I relied on during my mains was a lot of value addition. So what I did was I got statistical data. I used to think about a topic and subtopics, and then I used to write about various questions or various data that I can put up there. So I used to think of that in multiple angles, in a very holistic manner as much.
Like, can you show us how it is? This is for the current based part or even the static part?
This type of value additions can be used to like for any purpose.
For any of the purpose in all the part.
For those topics. For example, here we've got the topic of women, and here I had this overall inequality I had written, and then I got the gender inequality rank. So there was one issue. Then there was birth, sex ratio at birth, child sex ratio 0 to 6 years trend, then women education, literacy rate, general course versus STEM courses, male female difference, female literacy rate divide, the menstrual dropout rate. I had this report of Dasra report which said that some I exactly forgot the number, some 1,000 women drop out of school because of menstrual hygiene related issues. So those type of data and all those for women, work, health, women MMR, states comparison. Here is what I mean when I say like comparative data, especially state-wise, anemia, institutional delivery rate. So it just shows domestic violence, divorce rate in India.
So basically you're having a good amount of statistical data.
Yes.
And along with that, the reports and commissions which have given those reports.
Yes.
And you would quote them, right?
Yes.
So it creates a different kind of impression, I believe, that you know in and out about the topic.
Yes, that was my basic strategy with means answer writing.
I think that's a very smart strategy, because most of us will read the data and we are not sure where to use it.
Yes.
Rather, sometimes we feel that, okay, just quoting one statistical data, some information or some fact, it is enough. But from you, I learned that you have been quoting like 6, 7 or more than that data is inside the same answer.
Yes, especially in GS3.
Okay. But just tell me something that civil service is a long journey. Even the preparation is complex. Many a time you need someone to stand beside you to tell you what exactly is right, wrong, do's, don'ts, this is working, that is not working. Some students can do it by themselves, but those are very few. Majority of them, they need some kind of guidance. Some mentor has to be there to tell you exactly what has to be done. What do you think the importance of guidance or mentorship, where it stands in the life cycle of civil service preparation?
Yes. I think that guidance is actually very important. As in my case, I did have an inclination for civil services even after I passed 12th. It was back in 2015. But there was lack of guidance. Because of lack of guidance, I didn't even know in how many stages the exam is being held. So that is how much the guidance is important.
That much of awareness was lacking.
So that is such a very basic thing. But going into the examination pattern, I think some amount of guidance about what resources to follow and what to study and what to ignore, that is also very important.
What not to study is equally
Very
important.
Especially because the syllabus is a vast ocean. One cannot think that you'll be collecting all the drops of water.
Absolutely true. There's no end to it.
Yes. So I think in that aspect, my guidance and mentorship is definitely helpful. And I think that's it.
So if you have someone who is standing by you maybe throughout the year, through the major part of the year, telling you exactly this has to be done or that not has to be done,
Yes.
it works out like anything, right?
Yes.
It's even awares you.
Yes. And
Right.
also it's sometimes it becomes an emotional support also.
Yeah, that motivation is very important.
Yes.
We see that students, they actually go out of the cycle of preparation for some time and come back depending on that presence of motivational factor.
Yes.
Generally, the results play a very important role as a part of motivation. And you might be knowing it much better than many because you did it in the very first attempt. So that's an achievement. Mayur, tell me a little about this interview guidance, what is needed. You interacted with Ravindan sir, right,
Yes,
during your one-to-one session. How was it?
Okay, so I came to Delhi after my mains result, and then I actually my interview was very late. It was in the third phase.
Okay.
So I got
This year they went for phases.
Yes. So I had like 4 or 5 months, around 4 months to prepare for interview stage. So give lots of mock interviews and one-on-one sessions. And I think it was very helpful. I learned to look at the issues or topics from multiple angles, especially with, for example, as you have talked, I had a session with one-on-one session with Ravindan sir. So sir actually asked me about questions about nuclear diplomacy and all. He asked me about India's nuclear doctrine and all those topics. And quite coincidentally, or sir's experience, the member 5 I had in my main interview, the original interview, he started off with nuclear diplomacy. And it almost went on like member 5 asked me around 4 or 5 questions on nuclear diplomacy.
So that was a great confidence boost up in the main interview itself.
Yes, because once sir asked me those topics, I had to go back and look up those and brush up those topics that I have. Yes.
And what about the prediction? What he predicted for you?
He predicted 65 plus minus 5. And
you got?
Around 70, yes.
So plus minus 5 plus works for you, I think.
Yes,
better.
a higher end of what the range.
No, was he able to give you the right feedback? And that is what you worked on.
Yes, definitely. He gave a very right feedback. He actually pointed out those loopholes which I knew that I had within me. Because
you knew
I knew that I had those loopholes, and he actually pointed out that yes, this is where you need to work on. I worked on, and yes.
Great. That's a great deal of actually discipline, I would say, and a great deal of hard work that you have done, Mayur.
Yes.
I think, Mayur, with the things that you have told us, many of the students would actually take it and will understand what they need to change in their life and maybe change the strategy accordingly, maybe work accordingly. And someday we'll be sitting here with me again.
Yes.
So, Mayur, thank you very much for your time.
Congratulations
again.
Thank you, sir.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
We believe you will do a great sort of work for the society. Thank you very much, Mayur.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.